What's going on, everybody? And welcome to the You Heard Me Right podcast. A podcast where I give you bold predictions and predict what the Steelers will do this season. Now, let's get into it. I have a couple of things that I needed to say today. And the bold statement I'm going to say at the end of the show, you're going to want to pay attention to. So please stay until the end. Let me explain everything I'm about to say before you judge. First and foremost, the Steelers will be better than the 2018-2019 Chiefs this season. You heard me right. We will be better than the Kansas City Chiefs last year. This draft class solidified every need that the Pittsburgh Steelers had this offseason, besides maybe the free safety position. Let's get into it. With the first pick, we traded up. We traded with the Denver Broncos. We swapped the 20th pick and the 10th pick. We gave them our second round pick in 2019 and a third round pick in 2020. This was a train robbery. We basically stole Devin Bush from both the Denver Broncos and the Cincinnati Bengals, who were going to take him with the next pick. We gave up literally our second round pick this year and, flopped firsts. Because we get a third next year from Le'Veon Bell as a compensatory pick. He brings an attitude to this defense that we have not had in a very long time. He brings the coverage ability and the athleticism sideline to sideline that we haven't had since Ryan Shazier's tragic injury. He will be Defensive Rookie of the Year. You heard me right. Let's get into our third round picks. With the first third round pick, the Steelers selected Diontae Johnson, wide receiver from Toledo. He will be the number 3 wide receiver at the end of the year. He will beat out Dante Moncrief for a starting spot. He is by far the best route runner in this class. Bruce Arians said so himself. And he was going to take him with their next pick. Diontae Johnson has quick feet, glue hands. He has insane route running ability. And like I said, he is probably the quickest wide receiver in the draft. Not the fastest, but the quickest. And the most dangerous with the ball in his hands. Let's look at our second third round pick. Justin Layne, who will be the future heir apparent to Joe Haden. Comes from Michigan State. He is 6'2", a little over 190 pounds, and he was a former wide receiver. He will be the number 4 quarter on Pittsburgh's roster this upcoming season, behind Hayden, Hilton, Nelson, and he will be the 4th. Okay, and then Cameron Sutton will be the 5th. Great selection, and is going to be a guy who can sit and learn and develop behind Joe Haden. And let's be honest, Joe Haden really hasn't had a season where he's been completely healthy. So now we have depth. Going into the 4th round, we have perhaps the steal of the NFL draft. And in my opinion, the best running back in the entire draft class. People want to say Josh Jacobs is the best running back. People want to say Miles Sanders is the best running back. They are not. It is Benny Snell. And I can explain why. Josh Jacobs split time at Alabama and really wasn't anything that special because they split carries between 3 different running backs. Damian Harris himself, and I forget the guy's name, but he's big number. Najee Harris. So they split carries between 3 different running backs, And I'm telling you, Josh Jacobs wasn't even the best Alabama running back. Okay. Miles Sanders, great running back, not taking anything away from him. He had very little tread on his tires, which is good. But again, that shows inexperience at the position. Now, I'm not saying he won't be a good running back at the National Football League level, but let's get into why I believe Benny Snell is the best running back in the class. Yes, he did not have a fantastic combine. Neither did James Conner. He ran 4.66, okay, but that's not his style of running. He's not a guy who's going to take the top off the coverage and burn you for a 60 to 90 yard touchdown run. He's a bruiser, battering ram. Okay, now he gives you flexibility in Pittsburgh's running back room. Here's why he's the best running back in the class. In 3 seasons, he had over 4,000 all-purpose yards. He had 48 touchdowns, playing in the most difficult conference in college football. He played in the SEC. That's not the only thing, though. Okay? Benny Snell has been doubted his entire life. Oh, you're too small. You're too slow. You're not going to do anything at Kentucky. Came in as a true freshman and has dominated ever since. The funny part is, most teams knew that he was getting the ball because he was really the only player offensively on Kentucky's team doing anything. And they still couldn't stop him. Now you bring him in as a number 3 in Pittsburgh, and he's going to be very, very difficult to stop. And now we've gotten back to old school Steelers football. Running the ball, controlling the clock, and playing good defense. Okay? With our 5th round selection, this is the one that may be the biggest project of them all. Zach Gentry, the tight end out of Michigan. But here's why I like the pick. He is a hair under 6'9", and he is 265 pounds. He won't be a number 1. He would be the number 2 tight end behind Vance McDonald. And you know Ben's going to love his height in the red zone. If we do not throw the ball in the red zone, we will run it with our 3 running backs that we have now. He is probably the biggest project of the entire draft class. You go to our first 6th round pick in Sutton Smith, the outside linebacker from NIU. Now, a lot of people are saying that he is not going to be anything special in Pittsburgh. He didn't do anything at his combine. He didn't do anything during the Reese's Senior Bowl. Now, let's look a little bit of his statistics the past 3 seasons. Okay. In 2017, we'll just do the last 2, just to show you what his statistics are like the past 2 years. The past 2 years, he has had 63 tackles in 2 seasons ago. 30 of them were for a loss, 14 sacks, 3 passes defended, 3 fumble recoveries, 2 touchdowns, and 3 forced fumbles. Last year, 61 total tackles, 26.5 for a loss, 15 sacks, 1 pass defended, 3 forced fumbles. 3 fumble recoveries, 4 forced fumbles, and a touchdown. He has been statistically one of the best outside linebackers in college football the past 2 seasons. You get into our second 6th round pick, Isaiah Buggs, the defensive end / defensive tackle from Alabama, who was, in my opinion, the most underrated defensive lineman in college football last year. Isaiah Buggs led the team in quarterback hurries, quarterback pressures, if you want to combine those 2. He led the team in sacks last year. He led the team in tackles for a loss, And he's versatile. He could play anywhere on the defensive line. He could play nose tackle. He could play defensive end. He could play nose tackle, or I already said nose tackle. He could play nose tackle, defensive end, defensive tackle. And if you asked him to drop a little weight, he probably could play outside linebacker for you. His versatility is going to be huge for Pittsburgh. And he will take the place of Big Daniel McCullers come week 1. Ulysses Gilbert III, which was our last 6th-round pick, is a linebacker from the University of Akron, who will be a depth piece, but will be a very solid special teams contributor. He is going to be the guy to replace Dirty Red. Not dealing with mediocrity anymore. If you can't play, you're gone. Ulysses Gilbert is going to take his spot. And he is a depth piece at the inside linebacker position. That's it. Derwin Gray, offensive lineman from Maryland, which was our 7th-round pick. He's played both guard and tackle, but he will play left guard for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he will be a backup to B.J. Finney. So when one of our guards or one of our centers retires, now you can move B.J. Finney into that spot, and Derwin Gray can fill the void of a B.J. Finney. So you look at our draft class, and our draft class, to me, if I were to give it a grade, would be probably a B+ to an A-. And it will rival the 1974 draft class for the best draft class in Steelers history. You heard me right. Now let's look at why I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be better than the Kansas City Chiefs in 2019-2020. Let's look at our schedule. Here is my schedule prediction for the Pittsburgh Steelers this season. Week 1 versus the New England Patriots. Win. That is a statement game. The Pittsburgh Steelers will win that game by running the ball with our 3 running backs and playing good defense. Week 2, home opener. Seattle Seahawks. That is a win. We will not lose our home opener. Week 3, San Francisco 49ers. We go to San Francisco in Levi Stadium. That is a win. So we're starting off 3-0. We play the Cincinnati Bengals at home, an 8:15 game. We historically have done very well in primetime games in Pittsburgh. That is another win. Week 5. This is a matchup to watch because both teams have gotten much better this offseason. The Baltimore Ravens. That is a win, but a close win. 17-14 Pittsburgh Steelers. Week 6, at LA, playing the Chargers. This is a redemption game. Pittsburgh wins by a landslide. 31-10. We go into the Week 7 bye, undefeated. Now we have 3 straight home games after the bye. We win against the Miami Dolphins. We lose versus the Indianapolis Colts. We lose versus the Rams. And we lose against the Browns at the Browns, which is a primetime game. So even though we had 3 home games coming out of the Week 7 bye, we played 3 very, very difficult teams this year. But we finish off the season strong. We beat the Cincinnati Bengals at Cincy. We beat the Cleveland Browns at the Cleveland Browns. Or at home, sorry. We beat the Arizona Cardinals. We beat the Buffalo Bills. We beat the New York Jets in the redemption game with Le'Veon Bell. And we beat the Baltimore Ravens Week 17. So we finish off the season strong, losing 3 games. Final record 13-3 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers finish the season strong, win every single postseason game, go into the Super Bowl, and beat the Los Angeles Rams. Thank you, guys.